Story 1. Tune out the bullshit, stay true to yourself, do what's right for you, and ignore anyone who stands in the way. Focus on who and what matters and forget the rest. Story 2. Those who dance are crazy to those who cannot hear the music. It is from a George Carlin book called Brain Droppings. I love the hell out of it. Story 3. I try to live like I've already died. I reach the afterlife and realize I've wasted my life. I am given a chance to go back and do it all again. This is my second chance to make the most of it. Story 4. Nice question. My family philosophy is that we keep lifting each other up and minimize negative talk, making sure we are all learning and becoming the best versions of ourselves. Story 5. Stop trying so hard. Look for and respond to opportunities. Do not make simple things complicated. Story 6. We were put on earth to help people. If you cannot help them, at least do not hurt them. Story 7. Never let someone you care about wonder how you feel about them. You do not have to love bomb them. Simply letting someone know you appreciate them as a human being goes a long way. Story 8. Eat, drink, and be merry. Make enough money to support that. Anything more is unnecessary. Story 9. In the end, only 3 things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. I always liked this quote, but I never fully appreciated its depth until I lost a child. Story 10. Focus on the good, keep growing, and do not be a miserable piece of shit. Story 11. None of this matters. Be kind. Drink some water. Story 12. You are born, you live, you eat as many tacos as you want and let the rest go to others, and then you die. You will not be judged by the tacos you eat. Story 13. Some of us are just here to float through life and take up space. Might as well enjoy it. Story 14. I do not want to exploit others or be exploited. I aim to contribute as many hours of work as are embodied in what I consume. I seek fundamental rights for everyone on Earth and the reduction of global inequality. My life goal is to advance these causes and sustain well-being for all. When I am not working toward that goal, I enjoy the pleasures of life. Story 15. Keep moving forward, but do not forget to enjoy the view. Life is a hike, not a race. Story 16. What you know is a drop. What you do not know is an ocean. Stay humble. Story 17. Give everything you have to the things you can control. Don't sweat the things you can't. Story 18. Just do your thing. No matter what you do or say, someone will disagree. Stop trying to please everyone and be yourself. Story 19. Health is paramount. Discipline is progress. Nature is restorative. Regret is regressive. Story 20. Everything will go wrong in some way and you will die sooner or later. So just do your thing, enjoy the moment, and embrace it. Eat well, love well, and life will be good. Story 21. If you don't have any expectations, or at least keep them low for things and people, you'll never be disappointed. Story 22. There is always a solution to problems, mistakes, and ordinary hiccups. Everyone is doing the best they can with the tools they have. Story 23. The Canadian band Trooper said it best. We are not here for a long time, but a good time. Story 24. Most of the time, life is difficult, but if you wait long enough, there are moments that do not. Those moments make the rest of life worth living. So hold on, because it will get better. Story 25. Try to do the best you can. I usually fail, but at least I tried, right? Story 26. Pursue the truth at all times. Never forget you might just end up being wrong. Story 27. No fucks given. Nobody deserves anything in life, and I will treat anyone exactly how they treat me. If they are kind and respectful, I will be courteous and accommodating in return. If they act as if they are entitled because they are richer, older, or famous, I will make sure they have the worst day of their lives. Story 28. Learn how to play the game, then figure out how to win it. Story 29. Do your best to develop yourself and see where life takes you. Story 30. Happiness is the sum of all your moments lived well. Anonymous. Story 31. Towards relationships. Either you want me or you do not. Towards life. Nothing makes sense, and it is beautiful. Story 32. Success is waking up, looking at myself in the mirror, thinking about everything I did yesterday and being able to say, yeah, I can live with that. Story 33. It costs nothing to be nice. It also costs nothing to be mean, so choose to be nice. Story 34. Harm none, hate no one, and if you cannot fix it, feel free to toss it in the fuck it bucket. Story 35. Do good. Be good. Sleep better. Effects of a clean conscience. Story 36. Be yourself. Be kind and humble. Do not hate anybody. And do not give a fuck about what others think. Story 37. Do whatever the hell you want to do, but not at the expense of anyone else. Story 38. Philadelphia relief pitcher Tug McGraw had a wonderful philosophy. He called it his frozen snowball theory. If I come in to pitch with the bases loaded, Tug explained, and heavy hitter Willie Stargell is at bat, there is no reason I would want to throw the ball. But eventually I have to pitch. So I remind myself that in a few billion years the Earth will become a frozen snowball hurtling through space, and nobody is going to care what Willie Stargell did with the bases loaded. Go do. Story 39. The answer to life is that there is no answer. We live among one another in unfair individual circumstances. Find enjoyment in the mundane parts of life. Be thankful for the privilege of living. Story 40. The price of freedom is steep, but I was proud to be a soldier. Story 41. Do no harm, take no nonsense, and treat others the way you would like to be treated. Story 42. Let go of your ego, accept life on its own terms. Be kind, do not use or harm people, and find people and things you enjoy. Life will be over so soon that there is no reason to take it so seriously. Story 43. To follow our desires, we should find others like us and pursue our dreams together. Story 44. Do not be a normie. Do not act like everyone else. Listen to music beyond what you hear on the radio. Enjoy what you truly like rather than what you are expected to like. Travel to places others do not. Be curious. Find something that excites you, such as a sport, a job, parenting, a profession, a hobby, or lifelong learning. Realize the universe is amazing as it is and does not need magic. Leave no trace. Do not litter, destroy, or waste. Be kind. Story 45. Let the people who want to be in your life be there, and let go of those who do not. People make their decisions and you can choose how you react. There is a lot more to it, but that is the sum. Story 46. Mind my own business. Don't talk to strangers. Try not to lie. Story 47. At the very least, try to treat people with kindness. Give others the benefit of the doubt. Be mindful of how my actions and inaction affect other people, and offer myself the same grace. Story 48. What is the worst that could happen? Sometimes I found out, but it has always served me well. Story 49. Nobody cares. Nothing really matters. All is set. Try to enjoy your days. Story 50. Be a net positive in the world. Contribute more positivity than negativity. Story 51. I will experience as much of life as possible until, ultimately, I become worm food. I want it all. Happiness, sadness, fear, anger, and love. Let me feel it all. That's life. Story 52. 2 things. First, no one cares what you are doing, so stop worrying. I have seen people act oddly on public transport and at work, but 90% of the time they are ignored if they are not committing a crime. People have their own concerns. They are not even slightly concerned with yours. Second, love yourself. Be your biggest fan because no one else will. You deserve love and support. Do not give it all away to others. You should be the most important person in your life. This does not mean being hurtful to others, but self-care should take priority. Story 53. Life is random. You can do exactly the same things others do and still get different results. Life is unfair. There is no reason it should be. If you do good, do it because you believe in it. Do not expect anything in return. It does wonders for inner peace. Story 54. We are all going to die one day. Do not let someone threaten you with a good time. Story 55. No one is above or beneath you. Do not harm others. Respect your environment. Express yourself and enable others to express themselves. Life has no meaning except what we give it. So we owe it to ourselves to rebel against an uncaring universe and be true to ourselves and our motivations. Story 56. Do the best you can with the information you have. When you know better, do better. Story 57. Don't fret over the things that are out of your control. Story 58. And give a pleasant fuck. Story 59. Do what you can with what you have where you are. Always be kind, no matter what. Story 60. You don't know who you are until you're faced with adversity. Story 61. People waste time pondering whether a glass is half empty or half full. I just drink whatever is in the glass. Sophia. Story 62. Do good. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Try to learn something from every interaction throughout the day. Story 63. Have standards. Let them define you. Hold your standards consistently and use them to judge situations, issues, and to form opinions. Test them by imagining the shoes on the other foot and by using limiting factor checks. Stand for issues, not people. Story 64. Never be cruel. Never be cowardly. Always do what is right, not necessarily for you or anyone, but what is right beyond the individual. It is difficult most of the time. You get hurt by people and by life, but that does not matter in the long run. I try to focus on things bigger than myself. It is not easy for me. I try and I fail a lot, but I think I should always. No one else will. Story 65. There is beauty in the world worth fighting for. If things were really as hopeless as those in power keep saying, they would not spend so much effort proclaiming it. Things are only fair when we force them to be. Story 66. Optimistic nihilism. Nothing matters, so just enjoy experiencing existence. Story 67. Stand for something or fall for everything. This applies to all areas of life, not just politics. Story 68. You cannot fight the ocean. Ride the waves so you do not drown. Story 69. Maximize the aha moments. Minimize the oh shit moments. Story 70. All the world's problems are caused by ego. Rid yourself of it, and you will have a happy life. Story 71. Make the next generation's lives easier, better, and more fulfilling than yours. For example, plant trees whose shade you will not be able to enjoy. Story 72. Just because someone else's beliefs and opinions differ from yours, do not treat them as inferior or unequal. If someone has a different upbringing, do not make them feel bad about it, especially if they experienced hardship. Always help others when you are able. You never know what you may gain from it. Lift others up. Do not push them down. Story 73. Be kind. Leave places better than you found them. Give others the benefit of the doubt. You never know what someone is going through. Story 74. I want to answer by describing how I viewed my dad's philosophy, although he would never have said he had one. He died a few weeks ago, and his funeral really showed his character. He would say, do what you want as long as you don't hurt others, and don't judge others, or something to that effect. At his funeral, there was a Catholic bishop and a nun, local gang members, a ballet teacher, a person recovering from addiction, a man with hundreds of millions of dollars, and a national representative athlete. I just can't think of a more diverse group of people, many of whom had no association with each other, yet all felt they were close to and really liked my dad. A hard man to live up to, but what a goal to set for yourself. Story 75. I describe my way of living as aggressively minding my own business. There is only so much weight I can put on my shoulders, so it feels right to keep my concerns local to me and my loved ones. As long as I act in their best interests and do not harm others, I believe I am doing the right thing. Story 76. We are all living manifestations of the experiences and opinions formed throughout our lives. Being our truest selves means balancing our actions, so they do not reflect only certain individual experiences but represent the whole of our experiences. I formed this philosophy of Aristotle, Spinoza, and Hume years ago after taking philosophy in college, blending the three perspectives I liked most into one. Aristotle: the golden mean is the result of a balance between excess and deficiency, enabling a flourishing life. Spinoza: our actions are influenced by prior causes and by the actions around us. Our free will is limited, but we still have the power to act on our own accord. Hume: we are bundles of experiences that succeed one another in rapid succession. By combining these perspectives, I realized that everyone is a gestalt combination of experiences rather than a fixed representation of a few of them. We can avoid a narrow-minded image of ourselves by balancing and living as representations of all our experiences, so that our conclusions and opinions are neither overly influenced by any single experience nor dismissed as insignificant. This philosophy helped me after a traumatic brain injury 9 years ago. Once I adopted this perspective, I came to terms with my injury by realizing that my traumatic brain injury is only a part of who I am, not all of me. I also became less critical of people and other things that interested me. I judged others based on the whole of their lives and actions instead of cherry-picking single experiences or aspects. Story 77. Love God. Be the best father I can be. Do my best to teach others in my work. And be curious about the world and the human condition. Story 78. This planet will be around long after I am gone, so I should look after it as much as I can. Oftentimes that means being careful with fires, not letting invasive species go unnoticed, and calling a conservation officer if a wild animal is suffering. Other people also have only one life. If I am in a position to help, I should do so. Even small acts of kindness are better than doing nothing. Quality of life is much more important than its length. Sometimes death is the kinder option, and keeping someone alive solely for the sake of prolonging life is cruel. This applies to both people and animals. Story 79. Being nice is not a weakness. It is an exercise in self-control. If someone else must lose something for you to gain it, that is a failure of humanity. People are all we have, and if we are going to make it, we need to find common ground. Be nice. It is free. Story 80. Live life to the fullest. Be mentally strong and maintain a healthy social circle. Story 81. Struggle is strength. The only way you will ever become or achieve anything worthwhile is if you leave your comfort zone and fight for it. Story 82. Do not sweat the petty things and do not pet the sweaty things. Story 83. If I am not going to look back and laugh at this memory when I am older, why am I doing it? Live life for the things you want to remember. If you are on your deathbed and cannot find a single thing that pulled you away from the world's darkness, then you have not lived. You have simply survived. Story 84. Nothing is truly that important. If something is, make sure you have no regrets. Story 85. Life is suffering, and that's okay. Make peace and accept it. Let go and create space in the mind. Be present and be real. Story 86. Always know why. If you feel strongly about something, know why. If you are doing something, know why. If you argue, know why. We do many things without a plan or understanding of our situation. Stop being reactionary. Live with purpose. Story 87. Just don't be a cunt. It's that simple. It's far easier to do nothing than to do something that pisses someone off. Story 88. Nothing matters, so you are free to do whatever you want. Try your best not to harm others in the process. Story 89. Trust your instincts. Stay true to yourself and envision who you want to be. When you have doubts, think about this. It is your last day on Earth. Do you have any regrets? Act on that and be happy. Story 90. If what you're doing doesn't cause anyone harm, live and let live. Story 91. Treat others as you would like to be treated. It may sound general and cliché, but really think about it. If you ever find yourself about to do something and somewhere inside realize you would not like it if it were done or said to you, and that realization actually changes your course, it is a Zen moment. This virtue encompasses all the rules you have been taught about dealing with other people. Story 92. Life sucks and then you die. You might as well make the best of it. Story 93. Be your authentic self every day. If you don't, you are living a lie. Story 94. The thing is, philosophy changes as you age. Right now it's find peace. Story 95. If you know you'll fuck up, at least choose a fire soundtrack. Story 96. Let me live my life the way I want, and let other people live their best lives. It made me less judgmental and less concerned if someone judged me. Story 97. Absurdism is the philosophical thesis that life, or the world in general, is absurd. The term absurd implies a lack of meaning or purpose, but its exact definition is disputed and different versions have been proposed. The choice of definition affects whether absurdism is true, since it may be true under one definition and false under another. Generally, the absurd denotes that which lacks sense, often involving contradiction and eluding reason. In the context of absurdism, it is usually a conflict or discrepancy between two things. Opinions differ on what these two things are. For example, it is traditionally described as the confrontation of rational human beings with an irrational world, or as the attempt to grasp something by reason even though it lies beyond the limits of rationality. Similar accounts see the discrepancy between intention and outcome, aspiration and reality, or subjective assessment and objective worth as the source of absurdity. Other definitions locate both conflicting sides within the individual, the ability to perceive the arbitrariness of final ends alongside the inability to let go of commitments to them. Absurdism differs from nihilism because it is not merely the claim that nothing matters. It also includes the fact that things seem to matter to us nonetheless, and this impression cannot be shaken off. Thus, the absurd is relational. It constitutes a conflict between two sides. Different accounts emphasize different components. Some focus on the practical aspect of an individual seeking meaning, others on the theoretical difficulty of knowing or rationally grasping the world. A related disagreement concerns whether the conflict is internal to the individual or between the individual's expectations and the external world. Some theorists add that the absurd involves a metacognitive component. The individual is aware of the conflict. An important feature of absurdism is that the absurd is not limited to particular situations but can apply to life as a whole. People are often confronted with absurd situations in everyday life. For example, when there is a serious mismatch between intention and reality. The philosophical thesis of absurdism goes further, asserting that life or the world as a whole is absurd, a claim that remains controversial. The perspective of absurdism becomes salient when one steps back from everyday engagements to assess their importance from a wider context. This can reveal the conflict between the significance things have from an internal perspective and their arbitrariness from an external perspective. The absurd becomes a problem because we have a strong desire for meaning and purpose even though they appear absent. In this sense, the conflict responsible for the absurd often constitutes or accompanies an existential crisis. Story 98. The purpose of life, summarized in 3 points. 1. You are here to be happy without harming others. 2. Whenever you can, help others be happy without making yourself miserable. 3. You are here as an observer. If it does not objectively harm you or others, it is not your problem to solve nor your sin to judge. Story 99. I try to be stoic, but I completely fail in the endeavor. Story 100. Live and let live. Do whatever you want as long as it does not interfere with other people's way of living. The second part of this philosophy is the hard part that many people mess up. Story 101. You won't remember this in 10 years anyway. I feel like nowadays everything is seen as embarrassing or cringeworthy, which makes people restrict how they express themselves. Realistically, no one cares enough to remember something you did a couple of years ago, let alone a few days ago, so just do it. Be carefree. Story 102. Everyone is winging it. Some people are better at appearing confident while doing so. Story 103. When everything in life is going wrong, clean your room. I don't know why, but whenever I let my room become a mess, things go wrong more often. When I clean it up, everything suddenly goes my way, even things beyond my control. Story 104. I recently took up vintage watches as a hobby. I developed a mantra through the hobby. Be a Seiko in a world of Rolex watches. For me, it means being reliable, under the radar, trustworthy, and occasionally stylish. Rolex watches are well made, and I would not mind owning one, but many Rolex watches in the world are fake. The same can sometimes be true of people. Seikos are unpretentious and authentic watches. That is what I try to live by. Story 105. There is so much good in the worst of us and so much bad in the best of us. It doesn't behoove us to judge others. Practice the fruits of the Spirit: kindness, empathy, long-suffering, understanding, forgiveness, gratitude, patience, humility, hopefulness, happiness, modesty, love for all living things. Story 106. If it is up to me, it gets 100%. If it is not up to me, it gets 0%. Story 107. Tell others that life is meaningful, but secretly do not believe it. Story 108. Do not set fire to anyone or their property. Such actions are illegal and dangerous. Story 109. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for life. Story 110. After trying to be a better person and doing the right thing, going the distance to be morally righteous, I just end up a pushover and taken advantage of. I don't care anymore. I always felt I had to be a people pleaser and everyone's friend. I don't hurt or betray people, but I don't push myself to live a life of virtue. If people don't accept me as I want to be, screw them. I'm just human and I want to enjoy life with the cards I was dealt. It's liberating to realize nobody cares in the end, and you don't have to either. Just give up. Story 111. What is the worst thing that could happen, and am I willing to take responsibility for it? So I will do it. Story 112. Everything happens for a reason. People enter your life for a purpose. Sometimes they leave when their mission is complete. Story 113. Let the work complete you as you complete it, whatever it may be. Story 114. If it doesn't affect me or my family, I don't care. Story 115. No one cares what you believe in or stand for. Just drive a little faster. Story 116. Perception is reality. Change your perception to change your reality. Story 117. Try not to offend, and try harder not to be offended. Never speak to the police. Story 118. Expect the unexpected. Do not rely on anyone. Story 119. Keep fighting for it until God says, "Shit, you are annoying." There you have it. Story 120. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. Story 121. Have a good time all the time. That's my philosophy, Marty. Story 122. Nothing exists without perception. Everything is within the mind. The world bends to your will. If it tastes good, then it must be good. Only the strong survive. The meek shall inherit the world. If you believe it, you can achieve it. There is no point in life, the world, or anything you do. Face value is the only value. Beauty is skin deep and there is no other kind. Your value depends on what is inside you, such as your organs. If a cat wants to become a lion, it must lose its appetite for mice. Even then, it will remain a cat. The glass cannot be half empty or half full. It is only partially filled. You are the cause of your own suffering unless someone else is. Turn the other cheek unless you are really fed up with that shit. There is nothing to fear but fear itself, if you are invincible. Only God can judge you, so the law does not matter. Story 123. Do not work a paid job unless it is very temporary or for friends or family. Do not buy Tetra Pak or non-recyclable packaging. Do as much as possible for free. Avoid spending money on mundane or unnecessary items, and buy secondhand when you can. I do make exceptions. Story 124. Do not, for any reason, do anything to anyone, no matter what, no matter where, no matter who you are with or where you have been or are going. Story 125. Very few people actually care. Learn to live independently so that if you are abandoned, you can dust yourself off, stand up, and be self-reliant. I'm sure your parents love you, but truly you are responsible for yourself. You must advocate for your own promotion, and you are the one who must find someone to marry or date. Story 126. Do not punch down or be duplicitous. Do not say anything about someone that you have not already told them or plan to tell them the next time you speak with them. If you know you will win a fight, do not fight. If the outcome is 50-50, go for it. If you know you are going to lose, you must fight. Best case scenario. Remain above ground rather than behind bars. Story 127. Tomorrow is a today that doesn't know it yet and will just as quickly become part of my yesterdays. Story 128. My life philosophy is to have no fixed philosophy. A fixed philosophy traps you in one way of thinking. You are better off altering the way you think as new evidence becomes available. Story 129. Eat ass, smoke grass, and sled fast. Truly words to live by. Story 130. Right or wrong does not matter. Only results count. If they do not care about you, do not care about them. Story 131. Nobody gets something for nothing. Whenever someone gives you something, they expect something in return, and it is easy to be taken advantage of. Do not owe anyone anything if they did not give you anything. This is why I do not accept gifts. Story 132. Mind the business that pays you mentally, physically, and emotionally. Story 133. The happiest of people still live in peaks and valleys. The trick is to make the valleys less shallow and the peaks last longer. Story 134. Train yourself to see the world as it is, not as you manipulate it to fit your ideals, opinions, beliefs, and, ironically, philosophy. Story 135. What you know is a drop. What you do not know is an ocean. Stay humble. Story 136. As long as my heart is in the right place, everything will turn out fine. Story 137. It doesn't matter. You live or you die, you can see it either way. Oh shit or oh wow. Story 138. People always piss you off. So why not piss on them? I'm joking. No, I'm genuinely joking. Story 139. The golden rule is to treat others the way you would like someone to treat you, your mother, or your dog. Story 140. The purpose of life is not to be happy, but to avoid being miserable. It's perfectly okay if you feel just fine. It made a lot of things easier once I realized that. Story 141. Do what feels right to you. There is no universal moral or social code you need to abide by. Story 142. Do not, under any circumstances, do anything to anyone, regardless of who you are with, where you are, or where you have been. Story 143. Work hard now and play later, or play now and work much harder later. You get to choose. The reality is you are going to have to work or suffer eventually. Odds are that if you do what you are supposed to do now, it will pay off more than if you postpone it until it becomes a problem. Story 144. Mine is religious, so feel free to skip. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress. James 1 verse 27. Story 145. The shrieking of foreign dictators is the most beautiful music to the ears. Story 146. I like following the rules as long as I agree with them. I also follow the wily way. No one will get this last part, but it's all good. Story 147. Ideology is more important than people. Ideas last. People do not. It is okay to burn down a town just to prove a point. Story 148. Know thyself, carpe diem, and bring light to those who are in darkness. Story 149. My philosophy is simple. Do to others as you would have them do to you. I live that way in all aspects. I am not perfect, but I do my best for those around me. I stay true to myself and to my word, and I allow myself to adapt and learn. No one has all the answers, and I do not judge everyone as right or wrong. I take time to understand people, regardless of how different their views are from mine. I am a friend to all and hope to be an enemy to none. My perspective has led me to some incredibly unique people, both beautiful and evil. I embrace it all. I just love to learn. Story 150. Have the absolute best time possible and make sure those around me do too. I came to this philosophy over a decade ago. In my 20s, I decided this was the only life I would have, so I tried to enjoy it fully. I had no regard for others and ruined many people's days. Basically, I was an impulsive jerk focused on immediate gratification and disguised it as a philosophy. After growing up a bit, I added a second principle, helping others. I'm not sure where it came from, but I wanted to be seen as a gentleman, not a bore. A big part of being a gentleman is making sure friends and guests are comfortable and have their needs met. On the surface, this viewpoint may seem shallow. I understand life is not one big party. I apply this philosophy to every situation, not just pleasure-seeking. When things go wrong, I work to make the best of the situation, take action to improve things, and take care of those around me. It's simple for me and helps me stay positive and conscientious. Story 151. Find the joy in simple things: watching your kid laugh, making a delicious meal at home, going for a walk, enjoying chocolate, exercising, and being silly with your partner. Story 152. Don't be a dick. I treat everyone well and with respect. It's not that hard. Story 153. Nothing truly matters, so do what you enjoy. Life has no inherent meaning, so give it your own. The only thing separating geniuses from others is their opportunities to grow and their environment. Story 154. Brutality is mercy. Never forgive. Never forget. Be kind, but only to those who deserve it. Story 155. Say what you mean and mean what you say. I would rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. Story 156. Life. Treat others as I would like to be treated. Work. Do things as if everyone else, including co-workers, is an idiot. Story 157. Death will come one day. You do not need to be in a hurry. Story 158. If everyone is going to judge you, you might as well give them a reason. Story 159. What is in your self-interest? What affirms life the most? What do I have to do to get what I want? What thoughts do I need to think so I can utilize myself to the best of my ability? Am I being tricked by someone using language and shame? Story 160. Life can be difficult, but that's no reason not to try to make the best of it. Explore your interests and keep improving both mentally and physically. Story 161. Be kind. Include others and help them. If you are a spouse or parent, be the best you can. Do not be too hard on yourself, but challenge yourself. Remember that others may be facing much worse difficulties. Laugh at yourself. Do things that make you happy, even if they are small or silly. Story 162. Don't pay attention to what other people think and say. Focus on what you do and keep working on yourself. Story 163. Ups and downs all contribute to a unique experience that makes it worthwhile. Story 164. Be kind to people. Stay away from drama at work and with family. Story 165. Power through all obstacles and adversity. There is always hope for a better tomorrow. Story 166. Take action to leave the world a bit better than you found it. Story 167. The meaning of life becomes a trivia question when you feel alive, whether through art, falling in love, or watching things grow in the garden. Pursue that bliss. Story 168. If I am to live, let it be rudderless and in delirium. Pablo Neruda. Story 169. Life should be enjoyable. Spend it doing what you truly want to do with the people you want to share it with. Story 170. He who says he can and he who says he cannot are both usually right. You do not become what you want. You become what your habits make you. Who dares wins. It sounds harsh, but it means have the courage to take risks. Train without purpose. It means do not set a specific goal before you start training. For example, do not wait until you have a 10-kilometer race planned before you start cardio. Train anyway, gain the benefits, and when you need your cardio, you can use it. Story 171. Stay forever curious and find a way to combine your skills and curiosity with something people are willing to pay for that solves a problem and benefits humanity. Story 172. A burden shared is a burden halved. A joy shared is a joy doubled. Story 173. Spend as much time as you can with your parents, because they will likely die before you. Grief over your parents can have serious effects on your health, so try not to have any regrets. Story 174. Do not get worked up about an issue unless I am willing to do something about it, if possible. Story 175. Every meeting or interaction is an exchange. One gives something and expects something in return. Story 176. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Read together with freedom is obedience to self-formulated rules. Story 177. Live together, die alone. Thanks to Lost. We only have ourselves. Although we live among many people, make memories and experience life to its fullest. Remember to always put yourself first. It does not matter who you fool or who forgives you. At the end of every day, you only go to sleep with yourself. Story 178. During the journey, be cruel to yourself and kind to others. When you have made it, be kind to everyone. Story 179. Wear life like a loose t-shirt. If it's too tight, get a bigger one. Story 180. Just fucking deal with it. I realized a long time ago that there are some things I cannot change, and I'm okay with that. I find that sucking it up and getting through it seems to work okay. Story 181. 1. Life is not fair. 2. You are in charge of your own happiness. 2a. Life is short. Eat your dessert first. 3. If you have a problem, see number 1. Story 182. Work as little as you can, and make the work you are forced to do as tolerable as possible. Story 183. I am hanging around to see how weird it gets next. Life is a ride, so make the best of it when you can. Story 184. Be yourself. Don't waste time being nonchalant or hiding. Story 185. My old one was everything will work out in the end. My new one is trust no one. Story 186. I do not know what is going on, and maybe there is no point in trying to understand. Story 187. Stay true to who you are. We're a family, or something even deeper. No matter how dark your life might be, remember there is always something there for you. Story 188. I am a hedonist. I will try almost anything that looks sexually pleasurable at least once. Story 189. Live a life your ancestors would be proud of. I'm failing at that, so maybe another philosophy is, don't be like me. Story 190. Leave me the fuck alone, and I'll leave you alone. Story 191. I try to walk the line between Epicureanism and Stoicism. Story 192. Overall, I live by 3 morals: compassion, perseverance, and pride. Story 193. My philosophy is a complex pastiche of technological utopianism, stoicism, pragmatism, and existentialism. Story 194. Pite. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.